Dave, thank you so much for being here, man. You are awesome, and I'm so glad you're actually here. You're at the Lurn Center. You flew in all the way from Arizona. You fought the cold to be here.
You know, I left it was 75 degrees. I show up here, it's under 30. You got me here, though.
I got to tell you, that shows me how much you love me, and I appreciate that.
Definitely.
Dave has done over $8 million in sales on Amazon. That is amazing. And I got to tell you, I think one of the best things about it is your story. It's where you come from. I think a lot of people would love to hear that. And I find the more we talk, the more I get to learn from you about the Amazon business model. It is very different than kind of the other types of models out there. There's a simplification to it, which is so magical. And then there's just kind of that automation to it, which I really find so magical. So just to give everybody a little bit background, we don't like to do too much fluff, but a little bit background. Dave and I met now, I don't know how many years ago, 6, 7, 5?
Something like that.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
It's been a while since we've known each other for a long time.
Yeah,
but,
absolutely.
Definitely. I've been following you for way longer than that, but friends, definitely 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah, and it was at an event randomly. I think we were going up in the elevator and said hi, hello to one another. And then, as fate would have it, we started getting connected by multiple parties. And multiple people would say, hey, you should, I know that question. Like, you should ask Dave. I'm like, oh, God, yeah, I know that guy. And so eventually, we really hit it off. We talked more. We became good friends. And I think that if I was to say, your credibility, of course, you've done a lot on Amazon. You're full-time on Amazon. You've been doing this full-time for a long time. But I think if there's ever anything, one thing I could say to add to your credibility, and I think everyone listening would relate, there was a moment years ago where my wife wanted to look into starting an Amazon business. And when she came to me, I didn't know crap about it. I'm like, why can't you do the one thing I know? You have to do the one thing I don't. But the first person I called, I texted you right away. I said, can you please get on a call with my wife and walk her through this? So think about that. This is the same person that I sent my own wife to, saying this is the most trusted person I can think of for this business model. And I think that's really the story I wanted to share. So thank you for helping her. Thank you for always being so awesome.
Pleasure, yeah.
You're a super genuine guy. You're down to earth. I love that about you. And so just want to say hats off, man. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
All right.
I appreciate all those accolades. I
Well,
hope I can live up to that.
Now that all the singing Kumbaya is over, shall we get to grilling you?
Let's do it.
All right. So what I want to do real quick is I want to dive right into rapid fire, first round. And so let's start. Okay, Dave, how long have you been selling on Amazon?
So it's about 5.5 years. Well, 5.5 years in this business. I've been doing it since 2009.
Oh,
but
okay.
But not the right model. For the right model, 5.5 years.
5.5 years. How much in total sales have you had? I kind of revealed that number.
Yeah, a little over 8 million.
All right. What percent profit of that 8 million? What do you usually run?
We try to run over 35% at minimum, but I will be honest with you, when I first started this business, it wasn't as high, but now we definitely strive to be
Where
closer
did you
to 40%.
start?
Well, I was in a really difficult market, but I would say I was in the upper teens at that time.
You're still profitable. That's
Definitely. Oh, definitely profitable.
How many people would you estimate you've successfully taught Amazon to?
Wow. It's hard to know exactly, but it's in the thousands.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, you're in good hands if you're listening. Thousands of people have learned, and I've actually had the honor of seeing some of the stories and testimonials and what people say about what you've done for their lives. It's so powerful. Are you gonna blow everyone's minds today?
Well, I hope so. That's why we're here, right?
All right.
Yeah.
You know what? We actually forgot to do the biggest part, the most important part of the Fighting Entrepreneur podcast. I need you to raise your right hand.
Oh,
for me.
yep, sure.
All right. The oath of an entrepreneur. I, Dave Kettner.
I, Dave Kettner.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
To reveal everything about Amazon.
To reveal everything about Amazon.
And not hold anything back.
Not hold anything back.
And to tell the truth and nothing but the truth.
And definitely tell the truth.
Sweet. All right. We're officially out of round one. Let's move on to round number 2. Okay, Dave. So explain this at a high level. 8 million in sales using Amazon. What's the deal? What do you do? How does it work?
Well, if we kind of look at the big side of things, I mean, it's going to obviously be so much more to it, right? But the outside picture, looking in, the big picture of everything is we need to first find stuff that's selling well on Amazon. We don't want to recreate the wheel, right? So we find things that are doing well. Then we want to actually create a product that's similar but actually better. We find a way to make it better, right? And then we want to make it our own. So we find manufacturers out there that we can actually go create this, make it better. We make it our own. We make our own brand, and then we use Amazon's, all that the people, all the customers that are coming there to then sell it to those people.
Okay, got it. So let's step like one level even higher. And so I'll summarize. You correct me if I did it correctly. So here's what I took away from everything I've learned from you. Basically, Amazon's got tons of products, millions of brands. You go out, you find a product that could sell or is selling on Amazon, and you create a private label of it, which is your product with your brand attached to it. But you don't have to invent the product. You don't have to go through, all the invention process. There's people manufacturing it in China. You just ask them to stick your logo on it.
Well, does it have to be China? It could be anywhere.
Okay,
it just happens to be there are a lot in China, but
Yeah.
that is exactly correct. Yeah, it's private labeling, so we actually do then own that product ourselves.
Okay. So right when I hear that, if I'm listening, the first thought that comes to my head is, do I need tens of thousands of dollars to even start this? Because physical product, China, manufacturing, sounds expensive.
Sounds expensive. Yeah, but it's not actually. It's well, it depends what you consider what expensive is, obviously, right?
Okay.
But not anywhere close to tens of thousands of dollars. We usually our very first product that we started with, $500 up front is all we did.
$500.
500. I would not suggest going over 1,000 for your first order. So we
Okay.
keep it 1,000 or less.
So, I mean, most of your brand new students you're teaching, you also, again, it's $500 to $1,000
Exactly.
up front. And that's inventory investment.
Correct.
Because in the Amazon model, you do have to, so everyone's out there talking about drop shipping a lot lately with like Shopify and e-com, where the big story, the big hook is, hey, you don't have to buy any inventory. The only catch with the Amazon model is you have to get inventory and you have to stock it.
The initial inventory, yes. You're always going to own that product, right?
Yeah.
But to get started, we don't need to put all that, so much investment up front.
Got it.
But it is, what it is. We're actually taking money, we're buying something with it. It's an investment, really, what this business is. And then
Okay.
it just continues to grow as you grow.
Okay, awesome. Now, if you're listening and you're thinking, what's going on? How do I find this product? What kind of product works? Trust me, that's what this entire podcast is about. Plus, if you go to lurn.com/physical, LURN.com/physical, we've got a free boot camp coming out, a free workshop coming out. I mean, we are going to dive deep into Dave's mind. This is just like a teaser. This is a trailer. All right, so we got all your questions. Trust me, I know them because I had them. My wife had them. Everyone I know who's done Amazon had them, and Dave was the person that answered them. So we're gonna get to all of them. So that's the overall business model. Now, what kinds of products work if I'm gonna private label? Like, what kinds of things work? What kinds of things don't?
It's a good question. So there's obviously a lot of products that are out there, right? We don't want to do products that are well branded already. So there's big companies that are selling things like toilet paper, for example. We're not going to private label toilet paper. Maybe there's things out there like appliances, too big. There's different things that are going to be out of size, right? But anything there's a big name to it, we don't want to be doing it. We want to do things that, if you buy something, is it brand driven, or is it something that you're actually just looking for the actual keyword of that product, right? So for example, maybe it's like this mug here. When you're going to look for a mug, are you looking for a particular name of this mug? Or are you just looking for, blue mug or coffee mug?
True.
Right? More
Yeah,
generic.
I don't know a big brand name. Like, I wouldn't go search for a brand name.
Correct.
For a
Now,
mug,
I'm not saying that this is a good product opportunity.
Disclaimer.
All right. All right. Not saying
Disclaimer.
that. Just trying to
Okay.
do an example. So
Got it.
we try to stay things that are smaller, light in size, smaller in size, lighter in weight. It just makes it easier on the shipping and everything else. Don't get me wrong. There's other business models we can do bigger products, but for what we're going to be teaching in this course, it's all about doing light and small.
Okay.
We try to keep it within a price range to make it affordable. So the wholesale price is on the affordable side, but keeping it under that 1,000 that we're talking about.
Okay.
Things that obviously you mentioned already has to be able to be private labeled. We have to be able to work with a manufacturer that's willing to put our brand name on it, so we own it.
Okay.
Those are some important aspects.
So we're going to get into some of the specifics, by the way, because I know you've got specific rules when it comes to weight and price and all of those. So we'll talk about those in a couple of rounds. But any categories, types of products? I saw, so I heard this, I think it was 2 days ago when Andrea walked in and she asked you a question. She said, hey, I'm trying to find something for my friend, clothes. And you went, like you made a face. So that told me that might be a category you don't really recommend. So are there overall categories that you highly recommend and categories you do not recommend?
Definitely. We have about 20 categories that we recommend.
Okay.
And it's not that clothing is bad. It's just that there's better ones that are out there.
Okay.
Right? So Amazon does have certain ones that are called gated, which means that we have to actually apply to get into them. So as a brand new seller, it might be harder to get into. But to give you, throw some stuff out there, I mean, anything like in the kitchen niche, the pet niche, things that are, games, sports and activities, even, health and beauty stuff that's out there. Those are, they're going to be categories that we recommend that are easier to get into, that are not, you don't have to apply to get into with Amazon.
Sure.
And there's a lot of opportunities in those different categories.
And what about ones we would stay away from? Like, what about electronics?
That's a good question. So there are going to be some in electronics, but think of more like computers. How about that?
Okay.
There's things with computers that they're going to be brand-driven stuff, right?
Okay.
Now, if there's accessories within them, then we might have some opportunity there,
Okay.
right? But I tend to stay away from things that are more complicated. Electronics. You said electronics. Things that are that require any kind of electricity. We might there's going to be opportunities, but there's good things. There's other opportunities that are out there. We don't have to worry about electricity or batteries and that sort of thing.
Got it.
So there's definitely more specifics we get into with the course, but anything like appliances, not only is big, but they're brand driven.
Okay.
People are looking for Kenmore. They're looking for different names that you're going to go after, right?
They're also big, bulky, heavy, expensive. I mean, they'll violate some of the rules you'll go over in a couple of rounds.
Definitely.
What about so there's this huge uptick right now in the supplement world. People
Sure.
are launching supplements on everything.
Yes.
I mean, and it's kind of annoying actually because they're all coming from the same place, and I can't even trust now whether they're good quality or not. But
Sure.
maybe I have a personal bias. Do supplements work on Amazon though?
The supplements do work.
Okay.
It is definitely a more expensive area to get into.
Okay.
So
So it's competitive.
It is very competitive. There is going to be, again, there's going to be opportunities that are out there that we can say, hey, is this something worth going after? If it is, how much is it going to cost to go after that niche, right? So there's going to be times where we can look at something and say, wow, there's quite the opportunity here. But the purse on that might cost you tens of thousands of dollars to make it happen, right? So we can get into that, after, kind of teaching people to get started, but I wouldn't recommend it right up front.
Got it. Start simple. Start with a small product. Learn it. Master it. Get the cash flow coming. Then do something more complicated.
Now, with that said, if people that we're talking to, they already have a line of supplements, different story,
Okay.
right? Because then they can go through and they're building their brand, that sort of thing.
So it's not a no-go.
Correct.
It's just a maybe go, depending on the scenario.
That's a good way to put it.
Okay. Jewelry.
Jewelry is sometimes with jewelry, but if you think of jewelry, there's a lot of different variations, a lot of different styles with that, right? So it isn't quite the niche that we're going to be focusing on in this course. Think of it, you want to have things that you can duplicate over and over again, right? And not have as many variants. And if you have a lot of variants, it's going to be more inventory up front.
Got it.
So even when we're talking about the mug here, you're going to have all these different colors, different designs. The more you have, the more you have to market, the more you're going to have upfront a supply of it as well.
So what about digital products? I got courses. Can I sell courses on Amazon using your strategy and crush it, or not really?
Not the way we're teaching it.
Okay.
Yeah, no, because we're talking about physical products here.
It's called lurn.com/physical.
That's right.
Not digital.
That's right.
I
So
got it.
is there a way of doing it? Yeah. The way we're teaching this here, not so much.
Okay. All right. Brilliant. That was awesome. So let's close this round up.
Thanks for listening to The Fighting Entrepreneur with your host, Anik Singal.